they don't offer health insurance. A lot of the groups are not going to see some of these little shops where it's like the husband and the wife, secretary, and they got two employees. You know, that's really time consuming to not to pay on. So you're still able to sell them a health plan for just 4 people. Yeah.
And do all the administration. So y'all as agents here, you come across a prospect that has that need. You want to focus on your medical, you do meds up, and you're trying to sell life. You want to focus on that. So you can part that deal with us. Practically, you're a client. We're going to pay you on that business and allow you to still be involved.
So when you said about paying out per percentage on your, the $85 average per person to the producers here get paid a portion of that. If you do the health, is that a separate amount, or you're getting or for the commission on the health, or you're saying, hey, giving us and take care, you're not writing the health?
Yeah, because we're going to pay you on 100% of the population, whether they get health or not. So we're getting that commission on everything. So it works out in the wash.
The $85 just to
correct.
But then,
so in that situation,
can I make a statement on that just so nobody gets confused? Those of you that don't sell group insurance, one thing you got to realize is this. Aaron will tell you this also. Every year you have to tell what your commission is on that product, and so we have to report that. Well, the thing is that when these guys do this, and let's use the dental, because our group is on there. Well, there's no added fee in the dental for commissions. So there is no commission in there. So when they go out there to the group, I can speak from experience. On the last group I did, they had the silver plan and the gold plan. Well, the gold plan that their plan was cheaper than my high plan because there was no commission inside there. So the thing is that the way that you're going to get a lot of business, that's a great question. The way that they're going to get a lot of business is that, like, for example, the dental would be, because I just happen to know it pretty good, the dental would be $1,500 maximum in network and out of net with Metropolitan. That same benefit with a Guardian would only have $1,000, and the price would be within 50 cents of each other. Now, the thing is that all of a sudden now you don't have to go in and show that person, because some of the times when you do that and you get the commission and that the owner sees it and they go, oh, you made $7,000 this year on that. And see, this way you're getting a percentage on the $85, and guess what? Nobody knows you made anything because they don't have to report that. So that's why I told y'all to focus yesterday. This is a great thing for Friday. And you say, what do you mean Friday? When you go out to eat on Fridays, I tell people, figure 2 or 3 businesses. And the thing that I like them to finish on today is that what would we drop off? I know we're going to get some information. But do we want us to drop anything off when we talk to that person? And then if we wanted to pick up something, like for an example, do we just hand out the ball over to them, fill this one little form out? And Will's on the thing listening. We have actually got a form that you can go on igotacase.com, which we'll talk about later. You can go in and fill it out. It'll actually go to both your emails immediately. We just need you to help us put whatever questions you want on there.
Yeah, and we don't need a lot. I mean, like I said, the email introduction that says, hey, I think you should talk to Sean, mention that you're struggling with your payroll taxes or your benefits or your workers' comp or your HR person is retiring. Any of those are trigger events that you could say, I think I got somebody that can help you, and we can just.
Well, I'm going to say you should add one other thing. Even if you're not talking to us in some other group, you should ask, the first question you say is, thank you. You want to give you the information, ask one question. Tell me about your relationship. I want to write in there to tell you about the relationship. Hey, I've been knowing this guy for 5 years. Yeah. He plays basketball with my kids. I go to golf. He's a soccer deal. She's a soccer mom, whatever. just so that you get a little talking point, you know, his dog's name is Petey and he's got a little stripe around his eye.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that when you talk to him, you know what I'm saying? Hey, because you knew who that person was. Go ahead.
Yeah, and to Bob's other point, you know, when you talk about the benefits, they're gonna have access to a self-paid benefit. So Terry mentioned the dental insurance, but we have pages and pages of benefits. These under 50 employees just don't have access. Yeah. Or they don't have the time to administer. And we give them that, which now we don't have to just charge 85. We see value in all those products and we control it, means motivation for you guys as well.
I mean, we have clients that they have no HR person, so we put an HR person in their shop once a week that helps them hire, fire, run meetings, deal with paperwork. They're the HR team. And so those, I mean, we'll charge 140, 150 a head because they're getting a full-time person. We know that full-time person would make $70,000, $80,000 a year. So they get a full-time person at much less, and it helps us get better service.
I was gonna ask, like, how do you, like, all right, I'm in the villages, I have a family member machine shop, they talk, they wanna do business, how do you have people in the state that you deploy?
We do. We have offices throughout the country. We have people in, I mean, most of our teams are HR and sales teams in the various states. Our two big hubs are Columbus, Ohio, Dallas, Texas. That's where we have all of our payroll. We don't do any of that offshore. It's all onshore. And then we've got customer service teams from California to the Bangor that can help deal with it. So we know, especially in this area, one of the reasons we're here is we're going to stay over Friday and meet some current clients, talk to some prospects. And if anyone has a client you want us to talk to tomorrow, let me know. We got two of us and Terry, we split up and go in all different ways. You rent an electric car, we're trying to figure out how to charge.
Good thing to learn.
I'll tell you, I know the problem with that business, and it's out there. But anyway, so
Did you write it out for 700?
we do. Chambers are great because
Thank you.
you know you come in, you become a they offer our services. We can pay a marketing fee to the chamber and offer our services. So they're all good. Any client that has needs, any client that's growing, having problems, you know, the pandemic was great for us. Our business exploded in the pandemic. Think about it. You got all these virtual employees all over. How do I deliver my culture? I mean, the culture of Catmar is so unique. So how do you replicate that out? Well, let Terry focus on that. Let us help drive that through employee initiatives, handbooks, job descriptions, and performance management tools, or that we can touch everybody out there. An HR person nowadays is just not skilled and equipped to deal with a virtual workforce like that. They can deal with the transactional side. So those are things that we can bring to the table.
Another question. When it comes to, like, Clay was talking about with the family ritual, where the tenant, health insurance is, they can come off with it. Can you describe how you will work that small group space with evaluating, hey, your plan sounds really great, but are you, if it's like 5 or 6 employees and you're presenting the group plan, are you doing anything with, do they qualify for ACA tax? Or maybe they don't go with you with the health insurance part, so they're coming through payroll and all these other things because you did the home. That's the one part I was curious about, because if it is a small group, chances are, you know, based on, you know, the salaries of the workers and their families, it might not be a big deal, but they like everything else. Like, is that where you work with the producer to say, hey, this is what we're quoting, you go quote, you know, the information you can, and then we kind of work together, say, hey, you know what? These subsidies are great, but this plan that resourcing and ed is a lot better for your 4 people than you can get with whatnot. You come to that conclusion, and that's a win-win for everyone.
You know, I've come across that a lot where the business owner stuff, like they want to offer benefits. They're not required to, they're under 50.
Yeah.
But just because they wanna use it for attracting new employees and keeping their employees, and nobody can afford it, right? So now if they do offer it, the employee goes out and can't get a subsidy. You know, it's kind of the unintended consequence of that. So yes, we'll sit down, here's what we can offer, here's what it's gonna cost, here's what you're gonna contribute, it's an affordable plan. And then help them get that message to the employees before we implement it and see if they would take it and if that makes the most sense. That's easier in a smaller group because you're not going out to 40 people and trying to see if it's gonna work. Yes, we would work with the producer and say, look, you wanna maintain your own health insurance or you don't wanna offer health insurance, that's fine. We'll just offer all the other benefits, you know, like the employees do with ICHRA or whatever they wanna do.
You can help set up.
Mhm.
Okay, last question, my point of what I want to talk about, people transition to retirement and Medicare, especially, 60 to 65. How do you, with your employer groups, and you set this up, how do you handle the aging into Medicare with the client? If I'm referring over business to you, obviously, I'm gonna get involved with that client, and if they have someone going to Medicare, have that relationship, help that person come off the group plan, to get on the Medicare.
But you're the first person to call. You want them off.
Correct.
Yeah.
So what do you do then with all your other groups that come to you from non and Medicare producers? Do you have a relationship where you say, hey, we have some trusted people that send us business, sending you 25 cases that turn into, do I get on the short list, say, hey, Jeff, we have a client in Illinois that the person's coming off Medicare, can you?
So to your point, we're gonna, so we do that with Terry all the time. We had, like with that Kaizen, the life program that we identify targets that work. And it would be to our benefit to enrich our partners. Now, we don't have a whole lot to do Medicare, so, yeah, we're gonna send those, find other salespeople that do that. It becomes a challenge, I'm not gonna lie, because we have 2,500 local partners. So I don't wanna lie to you and say everything, but yeah, I mean, especially as you work with Sean, you're working back and forth, showing, hey, these guys have Medicare. I love bringing Terry because he gets it, he's a good resource, we trust him. So the same go.
We go to the Rolodex. So we had a group the other day that wanted attorney help for a nonprofit. So we go to the Rolodex, and our we got that specializes in that refers us business and took up.
Because the biggest thing I think with the boots on the ground agents that are doing non-group is you gave me a wealth of information to talk to other agents that I know, to put them in front of you, because we're all looking for this turning 60. People pay a lot of money for leads for Medicare. But if I'm feeding group and then there's aging on people all the time that I'm feeding group, I'm making some money. There's a lot of other agents that would love that opportunity to plug something in and not have to take care.
It gives you more hooks into that.
Oh, yeah.
It gives you, like I said yesterday, your position as a consultant. So let me show you this. This I can co-brand to Capmar and I can brand to your particular brand. This is what every client that comes into us would get. So you as a rep can now represent this level of services. So this is everything that we now do. So it goes through who we are, but you go through payroll, HR, ben admin, risk management. You get down here to expense management, time clocks, background checks, drug testing, performance management, applicant tracking. I can take, if you're interested in hiring somebody, I can post the job description, interview them, drug test them, background check them, get them to fill out the application, handbooks, job descriptions, populate it, enroll them in benefits, and then go, here's your new employee, Mr. Employer. United Healthcare. Now you get down to all these products. You now can sell on this platform with no other license, no other applicant you're selling medical insurance, telemed, HSA, FSA, drug cards, STD, LTD, dental, vision, 401k, financial wellness, purchasing power,
pet insurance, credit, life lock, critical illness, accident, home auto and renters, legal, all of that. So your clients now get this. So think about that as yesterday when I was talking about the employer who's trying to recruit away from Starbucks. Now, Starbucks gives them this. They get all of this through their billion-dollar company.
Go back
Now,
real quick, because when someone asks what's a conversation starter, any one of these items, if one of your groups says they're struggling with, then it's a good fit for us.
You know, this is great.
That's a lot.
Let me tell you what I would do. Right here, this is where I could customize it. If you would write a letter for the introduction, I could use this piece and go back one page. And I put a letter on that sign and my name and my phone number, and I'll say, hey, look, you know, reach out to me. And then that's all you need to do.
yeah,
Are all of those bullets linked throughout?
Yeah.
Or you have to approve?
no. So you can go here to, so here's United Healthcare.
Oh
So
my God, that's
this is, so they're gonna get an app. They're gonna get all of this, and then it goes into, these are our health plans from a $500 deductible up to $6,500. All the highlights, so now you can sell major medical insurance. And mind you, some of these plans, most consumers won't even have access. The rates, health insurance stuff, it's expensive, it's ridiculous. It's expensive to have health insurance, let's not lie. But you're gonna come in at a rate that we're gonna try to keep, our job is to keep you 7 years. If I give you some cheap rate today and gouge you next year, you leave and go somewhere else. So we give you a rate that we say is gonna be stable. This year, our health insurance had no rate increase. Can you imagine if you're a 5-man, 20-man group, you got health insurance going, oh, I don't have to worry about that, you know? So you're gonna have access to all of this. So we've got videos in here where you can do demos of our system. A lot of your folks are gonna be really, you know, interested in the, you know, what's the technology look like? The other thing is, and this is a big thing, that when you're up against other PEOs, having a single point of contact for the employer for all of this. They're gonna have one person they can go to help them deal with everything. And then, like I said, our accreditations are big. This would be our equivalent of AM Best. So these are all, again, you can all have this co-branded to you, but it's a great way to kind of get into what we do.
You can get as dangerous as you want with this, and you can really pick a few areas that you want to be proficient at when you're having a conversation, or like you said, go back to that previous page, and if somebody says, I'm struggling with one of these 60 things that's on here, that's when you make the introduction.
So you had mentioned about not having to do everything, like is there any training, like going through that yourself, is there like any additional training that you have on things? Not selling it, but just, you know, just getting to that next level besides, hey, you're talk to them. Ready, and that your other producers, like they started that, just referring it over, and then they did a little bit more training, and now they're able to get a little more elevated.
So I have some referral partners that will take the deal from start to close. And that's because maybe they were free for a while, but honestly, I think your point, the best way to do it is to just be on the call with them. So you're gonna hear me do a needs analysis, ask questions about, not really just fill out a form that yes, you use ADP for payroll. How's payroll working for you? Really, how long does it take you? Can we save you time? Not just when we save the money, we make it easier. When you go away on vacation, you have to keep, you know, mess payroll in your way. Something can be automated, all those stuff. So if you listen and come on those calls when I talk to the group, you'll start to hear some of the things that the problems we're solving for. And then you probably agree, a lot of times what is that broker will say, you know what, I think you'd be a fit for this group or this group, because when I hear that you now do this, it's all of that.
And I'm really happy to hear that you involved on the call, because that's learning right there. More than any other thing, it's just hearing you talk about things that I don't know, so then tune my ear for more opportunities when I hear things.
And it's not that you need to learn from me so that you can take it from start to close, it's so that you start to think about what the other good businesses that would get.
Yeah.
I always liken it, my background is as a lawyer, so I always think
if this person sat down in front of me as a client, whether it's a broker or a business owner, you just listen. And then what tool, I think I have a tool for that. I can help you with that. And so the more you get in tune with what we do, you'll know the tools to where to plug and play. We can do a ton of training. You know, if we're able to train Terry among is driving everything else, that he gets it. I mean, he gets it to where he'll hear it and and he'll know what documents to ask for. So it does set up a lot better. But it's a relationship thing. We've been able to build it with him. He builds it with the clients. And it's us. That's it. One thing we thought might be helpful to kind of illustrate the point is do a role play and take from somebody, whoever's got a client that is a business owner that either you have or don't have or are trying to get, is we would have Sean kind of talk to you as if Sean were you were the client, and show you how we would probably pivot into what we do. So who has anybody have an example of somebody? There's not many industry or an industry.
I got an idea of restaurant.
Okay.
Two restaurants, the sushi, and they go around 80 employees with the two restaurants. We did some other work with them, and of course, they like what we did, so that'll probably be the next step.
So what work did you do for
The employee retention plan.
them? Yeah. Okay, so Sean, so you're the sushi chef, so Sean will be you.
Yeah, so before I even jump.
I'll take the California roll while you're.
I'll just take our candidate.
Like the three things right off the bat that pop in my mind when I hear just that little background is, all right, first they've got over 50, so they offer benefits, they've got ACA reporting. Wage and hour compliance for restaurants is tough, collecting hours, time clock, so typically what I would just go is, tell me about your processes for payroll right now. Who are you using? Do you outsource? How long is it taking you? Is it efficient? Because I know family works in the restaurant business, it's not going on. Are things integrated? So are your time and labor management system integrated with payroll, or somebody have to go pull that file, handwrite it, put it on a spreadsheet, things like that?
No, it is electronic transfers through the.
Sales.
Okay. My big question would be, do you offer benefits? So I'm assuming over 50 FTEs, who's tracking whether they're getting close to that?
Yeah.
So you got 80, who's doing that tracking to see if they are? I mean, that's something we do as well. And it's probably buried somewhere in this for sure, but you would never get to ask until you get to a group like that that's struggling with that. I would say you have a lot of turnover. Who internally is managing the onboarding process? Because if you've got a lot of turnover, that's probably a drain on somebody internally.
Just find somebody that is staffing manager, that not only do the kitchen, but on the floor, so I know what to do.
Okay. If I could take some of that responsibility away from that person, is there something that could help them generate revenue for the business instead of managing that process? Because as Bob said, we can take a new hire from job application to when they get fired or quit without a single piece of paper electronically.
You know, I can always, restaurant, there's always something to do. So yeah, I would love to be able to reallocate that person to do everything.
And then I would tell people more, if you have, I know it's the nature of that industry. Do you feel that yours is worse than other restaurants? And you do exit interviews. Find out why these employees are leaving. Is it because you don't offer benefits? Is it the culture?
Well, that's a good question. I'm gonna go with it on, because right now the restaurant industry it's competitive and everybody's going to where $20. And one thing is about our restaurant, our tabletop costs for our ticket items are high. So people want to come here because of higher tips, so higher now. While we do have some long-term clients, we are seeing some turnover on the smaller model.
So it'd be a fair statement that you can lose some help that are jumping for $1 an hour more somewhere else. So What if I said, I can give your employees access to benefits that they can't get with your competitors? And you don't have to give them that $1 an hour raise to keep them, and it costs you nothing to do that.
Yeah, that would be a big, that would be a big, and that's the thing.
Especially, I would think the challenge is you want to do that sushi chef, which is a huge value to your business.
Yeah.
And then that, yeah.
Because the guy that's 20 years.
And in that industry, I'd probably would say, not extremely high risk work comp, but they can get some workplace accidents, say, how's your workers' comp policy been running? You're noticing a lot of increases, an uptick in claims,
What about all those unemployment?
unemployment claims, who's managing that?
That's exactly, it's between that, the workers' comp.
Garnishments.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What's that?
Well, the other one too is, you got a lot of young women, you got a lot of young men in the industry, so next thing you know, you got Russell Brand or Harvey Weinstein working for you. So one of the things that a PEO offers is employee practice liability insurance that is embedded in our practice. So if you get sued for
Right here.
harassment, discrimination, we're gonna cover it. So that's automatic. Nope, part of that, no, that's the only insurance product that is embedded in our product.
The rest is the minimum and all of that.
So this is a,
That I have to deal with tips to minimum. In other words, making sure that the white staff makes at least.
As some of you may know, works for a competitor of ours.
I work for Paychex,
Yeah.
ADP, and PEO.
Yeah. So she's, if you internally as a resource effort, you always have us, but now you have the lovely and talented Don.
And payroll is the only thing that company does that makes any money.
Yeah.
And you get nothing back just because you do payroll.
Should you do like mostly, and if they're like, I want someone in person, then.
We'll be in.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, after the pandemic, a lot of people like Zoom.
Yeah.
Terry, I would be lucky to catch him on the screen with Zoom. But, you know, we'll do Zoom in person, phone.
We usually like Zoom Terry in the car. Well, he's.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say the
First
first.
He shouldn't, but he shouldn't.
And I'm like,
He's always in a different car when I see him, and that's probably because one's in the.
I'm just worried about him.
So that's a good, so that's a good example of virtual. Now, 50 employees at $100 a head, $5,000 a month, that's $500, that's for 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
Anyone else have a client that you can think of, a business owner that you just sold something to, fixing to go into? I'm just kidding right now.
Oh, no, these, these Amazon trucks are not owned by Amazon.
Right.
And they're struggling on, with the benefits and such.
Right.
Have you dealt with anybody like that?
not from, I know someone that owns one of those businesses, and I know it's difficult. The benefits piece, yes, they're struggling because they don't have the size to be able to do it, there's all those different benefits. I would say that the other aspect that gets to be tricky is the workers' comp. So our work comp doesn't like typically long haul type stuff, but if you're doing routes around town, they might still allow that. But what I have found is a lot of those business owners in that industry, probably similar to cannabis, are not experienced as business owners. Somebody said, I'm gonna go throw some money, it sounds like a great idea, I need to lock up this route before Amazon sells it to somebody else. And they never ran a business before, so they have no clue when it comes to payroll, taxes, HR, work comp, benefits, any of that. So that's where I would sit down and say, all right, well, we can help you not have to hire somebody to manage this. We're gonna be, if they've got, I always look at it this way, if the client has about 15 employees, we are an absolute steal for what we do. Because just using round numbers, we're gonna charge them $15,000 a year, and they're gonna have a HR department, payroll and tax specialist, a benefits administration system, access to benefits they can get, pay to go work for comp. They could never hire somebody, and it would be a third of minimum wage for what they would have to pay somebody to be less expensive than we are.
Well, I remember you said something about not very good in transportation industry and all that. Yeah.
Long haul trucking?
Yeah.
That's gonna be a one.
Talking about small nonprofit, there's 7, 8 folks and how do you get over the objection of, well, we've got somebody who's trying to do HR?
Usually it's
Yeah.
somebody on the board,
Yeah.
right, or they know somebody.
Well, or they have somebody in the office that does their books and
Yeah.
also gets, we're doing.
Yeah,
So,
Like my daughter works for a land trust
yeah,
and they've got 8 employees and they struggle, she had a workers' comp, and it's just a nightmare trying to get it all.
I mean, I was on the board, like I said yesterday, I was on the board for a while with Donald, and we used to, we had a little lady that did our bookkeeping, HR, ran, all of that, and it was over her, and we said, look, it's on us, my God, if something happens and they sue us, it's gonna happen. She wasn't up to date with everything, so, rather than hire a lawyer, call a tax, let's outsource this and free her up to do other things. And at the cost, like you said, 15 grand, it made absolute sense. Yes, it's an expense. It is sometimes an expense. We try to offset it with savings with work comp or medical insurance or some of these other things that they were buying. But it is an expense sometimes. But the safety net, the insurance you're buying against that liability is huge. And that's where it goes.
you need 10 contractors as well.
I mean, we'll pay the 1099. That's a different charge usually. There's a lot of them that do a 1099. So that,
Payroll.
yeah.
But they need some of your services, you're not gonna be offering health insurance, for a contractor, but, and some of these come my way is small therapists. One of my clients, he puts my name on Facebook and Google for all these mental health therapists, so about every other week, I'm getting a lead from someone who's going on their own, and some that people might be a good case to, we'll talk about that later, where they're out on their own, they wanna hire one or two other therapists and kind of build the practice. So,
There, in that serve a giant group of behavioral health.
yeah, so that's the leads that I come across are people that are wanting to start on their own, and then they get established, and then you wanna hire one or two people. I mean, we offer them like, well, you don't have enough W-2 employees to do that, but, they might need some of your other services to get to that point, where they're not ready to do that.
Those are all good plans. And again, like you said, all that dental vision, all that stuff, one person can sign up for, and it costs the employee nothing. So they're, until they get the numbers to do benefit, to do medical. The other thing, when you mentioned ERTC, we have a lot of CPAs as a way in the future. If you're looking at, give me your payroll, I gotta refile your quarterly. So when they do that, you can simply ask, you can see if your payroll from ADP or paychecks or some service and go, how's that working out? While I'm pulling this data, I can get this and get you a quote. ADP is synonymous for, the client doesn't even know what they're paying. We come in and go, this is what you're paying, we can do it for X. A lot of times ADP goes, well, we'll just drop it, price.
Why did you drop it?
Pose it does, but.
Well, I will always say, well, they should have been doing that.
Right,
Exactly.
Why don't you credit me back to the
right,
last?
right. But ERTC is a great way in. Before ERTC, that's a great way in.
Yeah.
And some of our national CPA partners, they're getting the same data. Hey, let me get this over here and I'll get you a quote.
And what's beautiful about that on ERTC, the group that we use, part of that ERTC calculation, guess what they gotta give you? Healthcare costs.
Yeah, yeah,
Because that's part of the calculation, and unfortunately, CPAs are missing.
right,
And so they're not getting the top credit that they should.
right.
We went through 2 audits with the IRS on from ERTC, we got this, so we'll change that.
Good.
Yeah.
They just issued a big memorandum.
Oh, yeah, last Thursday,
Yep.
we love that.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
You don't have.
The other thing I'll mention just from a perspective is if you've got target groups that you want to introduce us to, the 2 insurance policies that renew every year that they may be in a shopping mode are going to be health insurance and workers' comp. Work comp a little less because depending on the industry, it may not be something that they're health insurance is something that comes every year. they're gonna be shopping. There's gonna be an increase, so I'm making care, who's gonna pay for the increase? So I would say if you know of a prospect that is a 6/1 renewal, you wanna be starting to have that conversation probably 90 days prior. Because our product's gonna probably take about 45 days to stand up and implement. And that sales could take 30 days in itself, just between the meeting, gathering docs, closing, and those things. So if you know groups when they're renewing on health insurance, you wanna probably make that introduction. They should not have the renewal yet, but they're aware it's coming, and you can be one of the first ones to say, well, how was it last year? If it's something you're worried about this year, I have something that may help solve some of those problems.
The trade group for us, the APO, National Association, published this study recently, and you'd be shocked in certain verticals how much they've heard of PEO or are using PEO. You know, you get Workday, Paylocity, and all these big ADP and all the big golf tournaments. They're spending bajillions to get their name out there, and companies are looking. And if one of your clients do a PEO, a lot of times brokers are locked out. They're not gonna get access to them. And with us, we really try to incorporate that. And like we said yesterday, even bringing you in on the back end to sell life. If you've got a group of therapists, we get them signed up. We train our benefits, talking about life insurance and bring you back in, bring you back. If you've got a product, Medicare, supplement, whatever it is, we train our client service team to integrate that. So you've got an ear in the client at all times. I mean, and y'all are good at that, or you wouldn't be at this level. But it's another set of ears to help, bring you back in.
So you customize the digital version of that, you send to someone in business on an email, and it'll have our info on, and if you put the new things you could.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money to spend stuff too.
Yeah, we do. I mean,
It-
like we
it's
can,
not in at all.
I mean, we'll do like the brochure we handed out yesterday. I can even get that customized for you and give you the digital file and then your email or print it. What else? Anyone else want to run a role play with a client or potential client?
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
How competitive are we with, like the ADP or?
So Insperity was double the cost. ADP and Paychecks.
ADP's in the same neighborhood of Insperity from a cost. Paychecks, which now bought Oasis, and I would say in this market, you would probably run into Paychecks and venture more as the two large PEOs. Those two are probably gonna be pretty comparable in price. The bigger fluctuation is gonna be on the medical insurance.
They're already sold on it, you just are trying to get them to see better one.
And about 50% of our business are people in a PEO, and about 50% of people that are not.
I got one point.
Yes, sir.
What about service and clients?
Also, like good at 1084, 1085.
No, they family member, they have to change household, all of those things affect the clients. How does this work or who is knowing them? The client's gonna contact me first, so how does that affect this?
So what we would do on the front end of that client is you would be introduced to our service, and we would say, okay, on those types of issues, here's your person internally to talk to, and we'll communicate with you. Are you gonna do, if it's your plan and you're the broker on it, then we'll communicate to you, you get the forms and blah, blah, blah. Or we can do it all for you. And then all we have to do is make sure that the guy talking to the carrier is also talking to the payroll system to get that set up. If there's a change in condition, a birth, a death, those types of things, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna call their one person that they were told with us. And they're gonna go, I don't know who to call, but I'm telling you, oh my God, and then we would reach out to you and say, hey, you just take them off the plan, or, they're out of life insurance. Call it for life.
Well, so those things are going on.
Right.
So my question is that once we get a witness, and I've got a witness in mind that this contact, that this will probably be the biggest. I have no idea, I know the place.
What kind of business?
It's like a woman shelter with a research shop.
We have that, we have a couple women's shelters in Dallas that we could.
So my question is basically, run the investigation. Is it gonna be serviceable by me, or do I have to turn everything over?
It's up to you. If you want to continue to service it, you go down and set that parameter up with the client. So that, so if they call us, we call you. It's still up there.
So I've got clients all the way back to North Florida.
Yeah.
I started, they still call, no matter
I
what.
mean, this big deal we just did with Terry, I mean, you can't pull Terry out of anything. So, you know, no matter what you tell them, and they're still sending in emails, we send them to the benefits team, we work them, copy them, you know, we'll probably tell them, so they're getting, yeah.
So there's really way to inform that.
Absolutely. Yep. And that's the big difference with us. You're always gonna have, hopefully, this type of approach where you feel like you're a part of the team, we're never gonna be too big.
So if, I was just thinking like, in our hometown areas of the chambers, if there's not a PEO broker, there's no, is that a way to say, hey, I'm Leesburg Chamber, like I know the executive director very well, we're friends, but there's no PEO broker in the chamber, that I have an introduction, are able to facilitate via me or other chamber members, because they're not, that I'm offering the services, is that how that works?
So chambers, any of those groups, what we would do is, you know, if we had to join the chamber, that's something we could do. If you're the representative, we could arm you with the materials that, a lot of times what you try to get, we're gonna do that, we want access. We're gonna join in, like you were saying with me and I don't wanna be just a meal at a table, where you're like, I'm with the ADP or with them. Is, so give us, so any new member that comes into the chamber, let's give us that email, let us do a introduction. Any current members, you know, let us reach out to, and we'll sponsor all tournaments and all that other stuff. It's just give us access to the membership, so that we see a good ROI. Now, the other thing is like, all the stuff Terry's been here locally. We've got enough business here now where, hey, you know, we're about putting a person in his office, we're talking about getting more involved here. So, you know, it comes that way too.
So that's how the chain of service would work. There's a service team that you guys, that would, you know, somebody has to make changes on the payroll or elections or anything like that. There's a service team that handles that.
Yep, there's in all your business will get one service team that you would know who to go to. And then they have a single point of contact to go to. Hey, I mean, you know, you can fax your, I mean, we've had business owners call on their business on the golf course. Hey, my payroll, I've got to make the payroll, all the thing, approve it. So, yeah. Thank you. Awesome. Well, again, the 2 months appointment, sounds like he's got a couple, you got one, then we got a couple more here. So, he's remarkable. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but we're gonna do all expense paid trip. Well, thank you.